Down here, salt is a way of life.
Obviously, the environment down here is all salt. The ceiling's salt, the floor is salt, the walls are salt, and to an extent, the air is salt. And you breathe that in, and you can constantly taste the salt.
A disconnect penalty is not an exit judging by the tightening of control over shutdowns. There were many exits from the match. But instead, to fight their cause, we are going to be punished for it. We will not recycle a meat processing plant and lab that no one wants to play and that the developer would rather shove up their ass. We will not unnerve a bastard doctor who is unstable. We will not remake the Legion. We will punish those who do not want to play in bad conditions, without having a chance to win. Soon the game will be released from the developers of Resident Evil and your store will close.
Yes. You are exactly the reason this was implemented again.
How nice. Typical players for the Doctor and the Legion came running to protect their pets. Just because 2.5 of my mum's esports players can play against them doesn't mean they're okay. Everyone knows perfectly well who the players are coming out of the game against. This is Freddy, this is the Doctor, and this is the Legion. It's called statistics, and stick your opinion up your ass.
You know, not liking the killer you play against isn't grounds for quitting, right?
And similar comments like, I played 10,000 hours and never experienced problems with the Doctor. They are for whom? Who but you nerds need to play this game for several thousand hours? What should people do who come in to spend a few hours in the evening after work? How should they play against this piece of question mark who is the target audience of this game? Kids with endless free time? Are you afraid of getting your pet cut? For whom, then, will you have to farm? Lol. Legion destroys the very concept of the game in which the victims must run and hide because the Legion does not allow you to do either. If he finds one, he finds all. Since the game has such a maniac, the survivors must have a shotgun. So, why DC is punished so hard? I mean, if you DC, intentionally or not, you lose your items, your offerings, any BP you gained during the match, and 2 pips. What are the advantage to rage quit a game? You can suicide pretty fast if you want, ruining the match as equally as DCing. The only situation that maybe, and I say maybe, DC have some advantages if you are being slugged intentionally, but then, you trade BP, pips, for what? 5 minutes?
Probably they think this is a competitive game, but it isn't and never will be. Is so unbalanced and bugged.
Stop being such a selfish spunksock. It's to deter you from doing it and ruining the games of the other 4 players. That's all. Stop doing it, moron.
This will probably drive away the player base. This game has a low player base, and if devs think this is a competitive game and are gonna punish DCs like this, just do like me, don't buy any DLC until they fix their trash servers and DC system penalty.
If you DC because bad internet or dog died, you can wait for the ban to be over before playing again. If you don't have time/have internet so poor you can't complete a 10-minute game session, it's time to play a non-team orientated game like The Sims or Stardew Valley. Stop being selfish, stop ruining everybody else's fun because you can't have any.
Dev really think Survivor care about DC penalty. This DC ban is the reason why killer are being toxic today. Survivor still DC no matter what? So how do we play if one of teammate DC in the early game? Sacrifice on hook?
Good to know it's been implemented and how the little crybaby killers act on it. I will play something else for now.
If you didn't care, why make this post?
Apparently, the survivors do care, as the amount of threads about the DC penalties has been only increasing since they've turned them on.
Competitive matchmaking ban in a non-competitive game like DBDLMAO. Devs are absolutely brainless. I'll either play something else or switch to another account of DBD.
Shadow added DC penalty without any fact about it and still long killers. So nice the devs added a DC penalty and never told us it was added, let alone how long it is for any DC crash you get. Top that off that they still did not fix the killers taking so long for being low rank. Pretty good job so far.
BHVR did say it was added, and the DC penalty shouldn't matter to you if you don't DC. However, they will not disclose the exact details of the punishment so people don't go, hey, it's only a 5-minute penalty, I can live with that.
I already knew they were tinkering with the whole penalty, just the fact of not specify what the length of stuff is. They did when they did the whole testing for it. Yet now they won't tell what it is currently, other than hearing 1 hour being the most extreme for people who crash due to how poorly built the game is.
Offenders do not need to know the exact penalty time. Let's just say 1 hour is a short time, as the penalty will keep increasing on offense. 48 hours has also been reported. It will only get longer. Solution? Do not DC.
The DC penalty is bad for the game. I don't understand what they were thinking. Less people are playing because they are waiting for their DC penalties equals less people in queue. I have no problem waiting 30 to 60 minutes if I happen to DC. I just play other games meanwhile. This just affects the devs and the game negatively, lol, not for the DK. So they should think of other ways to avoid this, like removing the option to leave the game in the menu, lol.
They were thinking, how to avoid so much games to be ruined by rage-quitting babies. They were right.
Oh good, DC penalty is back and now the game is significantly less enjoyable. If you get into a match with terrible teammates or against a build you just straight up don't enjoy playing, you now have to wait for the killer to come find you and kill you. Fun. Definitely not terrible design in a game that doesn't have a competitive ranking system.
Cry.
So because you're not enjoying the game, you gotta make sure your 3 other teammates and the killer don't get to have fun too? Selfish. It's only a 5-minute timeout, it's not like they're permanently banning you. In those 5 minutes, go outside for a little bit and touch some grass.
Or they could just fix the servers and bugs before adding a penalty that's not needed in a casual game. It's only going to drive the player numbers down.
I've had 2 dumb teammates, who just sat half of the round in the grass, doing nothing. Why the heck? I shouldn't disconnect and find a more enjoyable match? 2. This game isn't a high quality, there are a lot of bugs, cheaters and ping problems, that makes you leave. Ask developers to open their eyes, to make them get that a player may leave not due to of only a rage. Last but not least, I've paid my money to be able to play, and I should wait? Better refund me then. I'll buy more interesting games for that price I spent for all DLCs without any timeouts and less bugs.
I just got hit like a far miles away and I should be happy about it. This game is not prepared for DC penalty, but OFK, we should stay at a boring match BC the game said so and you can't do nothing but killing yourself on hook. DC is just a fast way than killing yourself on the hook, you sabotage your team in both ways. I play this game for my fun, not for others' fun LMAO, I'm being selfish. Yes, but don't forget that if I bought the game, I play in the way I want and that's all.